So many of you are probably familiar with the brand Gallagher Fragrances. I've actually reviewed a ton of their offerings, and here we have a sister company to Gallagher Fragrances. This is called Pearlescent Parfums, and this is actually a brand that Daniel Gallagher, the indie perfumer, started as a joint venture with his wife, which I think is really, really sweet. This is the fourth installment into their collection, and I've done a video of the other fragrances from Pearlescent Parfums as well. If you're interested, you can search those up on YouTube here. But today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts of the brand new release by Pearlescent Parfums. This one is called Sunscape, just in time for the hotter weather. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this brand new fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's fragrance review of the brand new Sunscape by Pearlescent Parfums, and I tell you what I get from the smell, the performance, the longevity, all that good stuff, I do want to start things off by mentioning that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit that bell icon so you could be notified every time I do upload a future video to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you take something of value from today's review. It would really mean a lot to me. So one thing that you'll notice in all of the Gallagher Fragrances releases, as well as the Pearlescent Parfums, is the notes are conveniently located somewhere either on the box or the bottle or both. In the case of this brand, they're on the back of the box, and it says bergamot, lime, sweet orange, violet, blue bonnet, honeydew, ginger frankincense, an imaginary note of Texas sunshine, and vanilla. I like how that's kind of like the penultimate note, and they kind of snuck it in there. But it's really cool, really cute, and definitely something to put you in the right frame of mind for the anticipated hotter weather that I've been so eagerly yearning. And I'm happy that the past few days have actually sprinkled in a few hot days that we can enjoy, fire up the grill in the backyard. You know what I'm talking about. So here we're going to be taking a closer look at this fragrance. I'll tell you all about the smell. Let's take a look at the presentation. So in the opening of the fragrance, you get citrus and florals. And I'm guessing the florals are probably, a reflection of the more feminine energies that went into the construction of the fragrance, that being, the involvement on behalf of his wife. Although I'm pretty sure Daniel Gallagher has a knack for utilizing floral ingredients as well. And there's definitely something floral happening in this fragrance. Now, at first, I thought it was going to be like linden blossom or something like that. And I wasn't too far off. I do see there's lime in the opening. I see there's bergamot. And there are some floral nuances in here, namely the violet. But you also have blue bonnet. And I'm sure there's some kind of clean floral ingredient in here. So where my mind initially went was jasmine or gardenia or something like that, and violet does make sense, but I got something that I would compare to the smell of linden blossom. I think there's a kerosene fragrance called Pretty Machine. I remember it being in a blue bottle, at least when he had the vintage presentations, the old school presentations, and this kind of reminds me of that in a sense, but it's still very, very different, right? So it has this floral personality about it. And I do get this tart lime in the opening. And it's a really nice combination of citrus. But as it sort of settles down onto the skin, the honeydew really starts to come out. And the reason I mention that is because there is something in here. There's a similar ingredient to what he's also used in Amongst Waves, which has like this slightly sweet yet oceanic melon quality about it. And so when I saw the honeydew and I smelled it, I was like, oh, there is an ingredient in here that smells like what he used in Amongst Waves, which is the sister brand Gallagher Fragrances, which kind of came out before this brand was released. So there is this lingering fruity sweetness about it, which is really interesting. And there's a certain quality about it because of that. that sort of sweet, melon, hazy, floral, obscure vibe that also kind of reminds me of Fantomas by Nasomato. So if you've had a chance to try that one, people have compared it to a melon note mixed with a fog machine. If you can kind of imagine what that smells like, I think you'll get something similar with this fragrance, but certainly more of an emphasis on the floral ingredients. And there is something very bright, sunny, and cheerful about this fragrance too. So you can't negate that, and you can't go without mentioning that. It has this very bright and uplifting quality about it. And I think in terms of the vibe that it tries to communicate, definitely on the spot. I think this one is a solid summertime fragrance, but it has enough virility about it that you can also enjoy it in the springtime and perhaps even in the autumn. I would certainly wear this in the springtime, especially because of some of the more floral components to it. But I don't want, because I know I've already said the word floral like 7 times in this review, I don't wish to give anybody the impression that this smells feminine. It does not. This is a perfectly unisex fragrance that achieves an even balance of the florals, but also the citrus, the mild sweetness, the fruity components. And then of course in the base, I would imagine a lot of that sweetness is coming from the note of vanilla, which is listed right at the end there. But the ginger and frankincense combination is really interesting because I don't get a whole lot of frankincense. Frankincense has always given me a lemony pine aroma, and I'm not getting too much lemon or pine from this. In terms of the citrus, there's bergamot and lime, and in terms of the earthier, greener elements to the fragrance, I perhaps am getting something on the darker, more verdant side of things, maybe like a patchouli or a cypress. Neither one of those notes are listed in the note breakdown, but I am trusting that Daniel Gallagher has actually used everything that is listed on this box. He happens to be a very sort of genuine, transparent person and with a great personality, and he's a good friend of mine. So I'm super happy for him and the success of both of the brands. And if you're a fan of these types of bright, citrusy, floral fragrances with a touch of sweetness in the base, I would definitely check this one out, especially if you can imagine smelling a more floral, brighter, sunnier version of Amongst Waves, which I think is going to be a good selling point for a lot of people because I love Amongst Waves. And so if I had told myself that prior to smelling this fragrance, I can tell you right now, I would have became extra excited to smell this fragrance. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I know I mentioned a few other fragrances, Pretty Machine by Kerosene, Fantomas by Nasomato, even Amongst Waves by Gallagher Fragrances, but this fragrance really does do its own thing. I'm just kind of trying to help guide people in the right direction to give them a frame of reference if in fact they've tried any of those other fragrances. If not, just imagining the notes, the way I described it, should paint a pretty good picture of what you can expect in terms of the smell. The uniqueness is there. Longevity is about 8 hours. Projection is great for the first hour. Became a skin scent at that 6 to 7 hour mark, but the projection is definitely above average. Versatility is great. Unisex, I told you what I think of the seasons. Great for the hotter weather, but would really shine in those intermediary seasons. And because of the florals, I think it's a perfect springtime fragrance. I think this one will appeal to anybody of any age, and I think this is great for casual and formal occasions. In terms of the box and bottle presentation, I do love the different colors that are utilized on the cap. This is the first time that they have this emerald-like color on the cap here, and also when you have all of the boxes lined up, you see this floral motif which runs consistently from one box to the other. I think it's really, really cool. My final verdict on the fragrance is, if you're a fan of citrusy floral fragrances with a touch of sweetness that are also unique and that also keep you intrigued the whole time you wear them, and you're looking for something that's on the long-lasting side of things, I would definitely recommend you check out Sunscape by Pearlescent Parfums. I think it's a solid release. Congratulations to you, Daniel, and the lady. I think you both did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for watching today. That was my review of Sunscape by Pearlescent Parfums. If you own or have tried this fragrance or any fragrance from the brand, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to support the channel by subscribing to it if indeed you learned something from today's video, or if you found this video helpful in any way, please click that red button. It would mean so much to me. Hit the bell icon so you could be notified every time I do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. It would really mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.